And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Lebron James episode. The 6'9", 250-pound small forward is a four-time champion, four-time MVP. He's an 18-time All-Star, 17-time All-NBA, playing 18 years in the league. I guess, did he just wrap up 19?
Yeah, just wrapped up 19.
Yep. Yeah, so a couple days ago, wrapped up season 19, and after being the number one overall pick, and obviously he is not yet a Hall of Famer while he still plays, with career averages of 27 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists on 50% shooting. And I will now kick to Uncle Doug, who has him ranked the highest of anyone in the room at number 3 overall and number 1 on his small forwards list. Uncle Doug?
Yeah. We haven't made too many secrets that LeBron is not my favorite player, but I had to give him props for all his accomplishments. A lot of accolades, good stats. He is number 2 at this point on the scoring list. His average is number 5. He's 42 on the rebound list, 7 on the assist list, 11 on the steals list, and 96 on the blocks list. His playoff averages are points are slightly higher, rebounds are slightly higher. So other than the Mavericks series, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, he has tended to show up. It was quite painful for me to put him ahead of Magic. I'm not sure that's going to stay there, but at the moment he is ahead of Magic on my all-time list.
Which surprised me, by the way.
Well, I was afraid you guys would call me a homer for the Lakers, so that's probably part of the reason.
And then you realized you were the only one not to do it.
I know. I was like, what? Yeah. So then that would have made me 1-4, which I think a couple of the other guys are at as well. But I still had him number 1 on the small forward list. And we talked a little bit about it during the Bird episode, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about it tonight. That was one of the toughest separations I had looking at all the players, was the Larry Bird, LeBron James, who was the better small forward. But yeah, even though LeBron is not my favorite and he has not done great things for my Laker franchise, I had to give him credit because he has played amazing.
All right. Well, that will lead us to Drew, who has him 1 spot down at number 4 and also number 1 on his small forwards list. Drew?
Well, I've basically watched LeBron my whole life. Started in Cleveland, went to Miami, back to Cleveland and L.A., and it's kind of a cycle. If you watch each path, he makes finals, each team he goes to. He gets accolades everywhere, a bunch of different teammates everywhere he goes. But through all these years, he's always consistent. He tries to make his team better and help everyone out. But through all these years, he stays the same. He just averaged, this year, 38 and 6. So, I know he didn't play as many games to be able to be eligible for the scoring title, but it's his 19th year in the league, and he's still being able to put that up. I think that's pretty impressive. So he'll probably catch Kareem next year in scoring. So sad for that, but that's a great accomplishment. So
I think he's got 1,200 points to go, so it's very doable next year.
Yeah. As long as no serious injury happens or anything, he should catch him. So
yeah,
even though I don't want it to happen, that's a major accomplishment. So
yeah, only playing 50-some games this year, 56 games this year. He still has 1,600 points. So
yeah, he'll get it next year. But yeah, that's all for now.
All right, well, that is where I would kick to Wade. But Wade is sadly not here again after making his appearance last week. But I thought he was going to be here tonight. I'm not sure why he's not here. Maybe he just went to bed. I don't know. So if he walks in the middle of this episode, we'll let him talk. But otherwise, we're moving on. Wade had him identically ranked to Drew. So that will lead to me, who has him a couple spots down at 7 and number 2 on his small forward list. Now, firstly, I will say that I knew what I was doing when I put LeBron at 7. I knew it was going to bring the ire of others, and I like it. But here's what I'll say. In a handful of episodes over these, now 7? Is this episode 70? Episode 69?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, something like
69. Nice.
That is the voice of Jared Schaller, everybody. He is back for another episode. Or I especially, I guess, have voiced my dislike for LeBron James, even though he's my best friend's favorite player.
I think Ray has as well.
I think all of us have. I just may be the ringleader.
He's not my favorite player. AI, baby.
Well, currently. Yeah. But he is a great player. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I'm not, like I said, I have him as the 7th greatest player of all time, and he could probably come up, to be honest with you. But I do have some very glaring issues with not only what LeBron's done, but how he's done it. And some of it I voiced last week in the Bird episode. Actually, probably too much of it I voiced last week in the Bird episode. So I'm sure Schaller and I will have a conversation here shortly. But LeBron is definitely an all-time great. I could see LeBron moving on my list. Not down. He won't go for any farther down than he already is. But he could come up a few spots. He will not come to the top of my list. Like, I'm not going to go Nick Wright on this or anything. But I can at least respect the greatness. I just have some issues here and there. And he will be the all-time leading scorer here soon. He was the first player to go 30,000, 10,000, 10,000. Lots of big accomplishments have come in the last few years. And he's got 4 rings, 4 MVPs. He was Rookie of the Year. He's got some all-defensive teams, all sorts of things. And before I move on to Ray, I'm going to give everybody a piece of information. Everybody listening, a piece of information. We are currently watching one of the play-in games, and this game, and it's coming down to the end of the 4th quarter. So we may periodically break in and talk about the game that's on TV. It's the Hawks Cleveland game. Winner gets the 8th seed, loser goes home. And then after that, the next game will come on, the Pelicans and Clippers. So if we periodically speak about the game, that's why. And I think Schaller has money on the game, so he's going to be very into it. So that being said, I will now kick to Ray, who has him ranked the lowest of any of us at number 10 overall and number 3 on the small forward list. Yes, you heard it right. Number 3 on the small forward list. Ray?
All right, so I was trying to figure out a way to approach this week. I'm like, there we go. It's a sad way to think of it, but we'll do it this way. The passing of Gilbert Gottfried happened like a week ago, so I was like, you know what? In honor of Gilbert Gottfried, we'll do the roast of LeBron James. So, with that said, here we go.
Oh, no.
The 2018 Lakers before LeBron, 35 and 47. The 29 Lakers with LeBron, 37 and 45. What an improvement, LeBron. What an improvement. 2001 Wizards before old Jordan, 19 and 63. 2002 Wizards with old Jordan, 37 and 45. Wow, his old ass got him 20 extra wins. Let's see. Michael Jordan has played all 82 games 9 times. LeBron has only done it once. Other notable names on that list: Jabbar at 5, Brian at 4, Hakeem at 4, Will at 4, and Larry and Duncan at 3. Let's see. And here's a quote by Brian Windhorst. It happened the first time in Cleveland, ran out of draft picks. Had a bunch of guys in their mid-30s. He goes to Miami, 4 years, great run, ran out of picks. Goes to Cleveland, 4 years, ran out of picks. They got old guys, 4th year, oldest team in NBA history, out of picks. They're exhausted. All of the players the Lakers have let go since LeBron has been there, and half of them are now on winning teams. Wow. Let's see. Quote by Jerry Krause on Michael Jordan. Since I'm sure the GOAT conversation is going to be in here quite frequent, so I thought I'd add him. Y'all give me some weird look. We ain't going to talk about the GOAT conversation?
Go ahead, Ray. You're good,
Okay.
man. You're good.
Okay.
You can.
He never came. Let's see. Michael Jordan never came up to me and asked me for other players to draft. To draft a player, he never came up to me once and asked for me to trade for a player. Never once did that happen. Part of it was he thought he was so darn good he could win without him. Wow, what a competitive mindset. Now let's look at the comparative teams of the Lakers and the Bulls. Davis is 28 years old, Howard is 35, James is 36, Westbrook is 32, and Anthony is 37. And I'm pretty sure all 5 of those guys have been on some kind of basketball game cover. And they just sucked all this year. So there's that. And then we have Rodman at 37, Pippen at 33, Jordan at 35, Ron Harper at 34, and Kukoc at 30. And they won a title. So, wow. I just can't get over that. The oldest bitches in the game can't win nothing. Let's see. And this is a nice current quote that I want to go with. LeBron James said, Steph Curry's the one I want to play with. Steph Curry's like, I'm good.
That was just the other
I
day.
did see that, yeah.
We all can live in that fantasy world, though. Let's see here. Michael Jordan played 4 seasons, 284 games fewer than LeBron. Michael Jordan's got 2 more rings, 2 more Finals MVPs, 1 more MVP, 1 more Defensive Player of the Year, 9 scoring titles, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll just end it with this, since I really ain't got nothing after that. Reggie keeping it real. If Michael Jordan would have called me and tried to sway me to come to Chicago, I would have told him to go fuck himself. So with all that said, I just wanted to get away from the stats and bring more of his personal bullshit, baby-ass behavior into the front screen to everybody. So there we go. We'll give it to Schaller this time.
All right. Well, thank you, Ray, for our unique opening statement there.
You're welcome.
And now I will kick to Schaller briefly here to see if Schaller has any rebuttals, questions, comments, to anything that was just mentioned about King James.
So the GOAT conversation, I don't think is
Okay. Well,
was relevant for me at least.
Okay.
I mean, Michael Jordan is a GOAT. That flew away with the Mavericks series for me. Even as a LeBron fan, that was an epic blow up that Michael Jordan would never done that.
all right. Sweet deal. Okay.
So the GOAT conversation's out. My main thing is the fact that some people rated him not the top shooting forward is asinine. I mean, statistically, and even with Larry Bird, statistically, LeBron is better than Larry Bird. Team, you can take the teams and you could say he's been a player GM. That's probably a negative. I agree with that. He should probably keep his ass out of the GM box because it's harmed him more in the later part of his career than it's helped him. But overall, as a basketball player, his accomplishments, longevity, statistics, trump him by far. And even when you guys are talking about so for me, when I had the Allen Iverson talk with you guys brought up a lot of certain statistics that you said always made Allen Iverson look bad. And when it comes down to it, LeBron beats those same statistics you guys were using against Allen Iverson, that he trumps Larry Bird by far. Win shares, every single one.
That's a Wade thing. That's not a me thing. I don't even know.
True shooting percentage, LeBron's better. Effective shooting percentage, LeBron is better. Value over replacement, LeBron is better. And that's not close on any of those categories. So that's kind of where I stand at. So I understand maybe putting him anywhere in your top 10. That's totally fine. But having him not as your top shooting forward is going to be my main point here. That I don't know how you guys would ever convince me of that one.
Well, I'll give you my reasoning. His overall, like the per game stats, LeBron's slightly better, a couple more points, one more assist, 3 less rebounds. Their steals are the same, their blocks are identical. 1 point or 1 percentage, less than 1 percentage difference in their field goal percentage. Bird's got a handful of percentage better from 3. 15-16% better from free throw line. So LeBron's got him in a couple areas. Bird's got him in a couple areas. I think I said in the last episode, the Bird episode, you can't compare really anybody to LeBron's longevity. His longevity is pretty much unmatched at this point. Even other guys like Jabbar and Stockton and a couple other guys that had played like 20 seasons, they weren't playing at this level this late. So there is no argument for me to be made there. Bird's done after 13 seasons. LeBron's playing at just
going into 20.
Yeah, it'll be going into 20 next year, right? Well, I don't know anything about win shares and all that shit, but because I don't even know how to calculate win shares, and we tried one episode. What?
Yeah, I was on that episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You guys used win shares against me.
Wade used win shares against you. We all had AI on our lists.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I was using against me, so I was using that as ammo against by a wide margins. LeBron's win shares, which is offensive, defensive, total win shares per 48, box. What is it? Box plus minus.
Box plus minus, yeah.
Defenses box plus minus, and then just overall box plus minus. He wins them all by wide margins. So
I will say this: I don't know a ton about all these stats, or these analytic stats, but a lot of them are cumulative. Like I know win shares are cumulative, and like box plus minus are cumulative. So the longer he plays, the bigger that gap's going to get. It's like war in baseball. Like if I keep performing for longer years, then it's going to the gap's just going to keep going. That's the only thing I got for that. And as far as true shooting percentage goes, I like true shooting percentage to an extent. It does show some cool things. I also have issues with true shooting percentage though, like when we're comparing eras, because it weighs how many 3-pointers you take. So like if you take more 3-pointers, even if you miss them, like it's considered a better shot. So your true shooting percentage is.
How is 3-pointer a better shot than a layup?
It's not. It only wants you to take 3-pointers and layups and free throws. That's it. So like if you get like James Harden's true shooting percentage is really really high because he shoots a bunch of free throws, even though he shoots a low percentage for an NBA player. Or like Steph Curry's true shooting percentage is really high because he shoots an asinine amount of threes. So like shooting bunches of free throws or bunches of threes makes your true shooting percentage go way up. It's not like guys that shoot 60% from the field have really high true shooting percentages. It's guys that shoot bunches of threes and free throws that have really high true shooting percentages. So even though Bird was a much better shooter than LeBron, but LeBron shoots like 3 times the amount of threes Bird does per game.
But statistically, if you look at the stats, Bird isn't that much better of a shooter. He only beats him by 3%. The only thing that he's really actually better at is free throws. He shot almost 90%. But 3, he was 37%, LeBron's 34%.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's 50% and 2, Bird is 49%.
Mm-hmm.
And then effective field goal rate, LeBron's 54%, Bird is 51%. And then if you go true shooting, it's 59 to 56. So overall, if you look at the stats, you can't fully say that he's that much better of a shooter than LeBron. It doesn't statistically show that.
I was surprised because
you can use the eye test.
When I was doing the research, I looked up those numbers you're talking about, and LeBron kept coming out on top. It kind of surprised me, especially early on. You didn't look at LeBron as a shooter, but he has gotten better. I was quite surprised. Now the true shooting percentage, I haven't messed with that much. I don't know all the ins and outs of that.
Yeah, and that's measuring the efficiency of the the two, and the free throw, where the field goal is just the 3 and the 2 without the free throws.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah, the free throws aren't in field goal percentage, yeah. Yep.
And then another one is player efficiency rating. I don't always look at this one that much, but it's not even close on that either. And then value above a replacement. LeBron is like 130, and Bird is at like 77. So, and then Michael is at like 118. So, another stat that, though I will say, you guys kind of have an argument on that one a little bit, because some of that is his own fault, because he creates teams that his value is so high because of some of the players he puts around himself, at least lately.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the value over replacement player. I don't even know what that is.
So that is, I knew you were going to ask this, so I wrote it down. A box score estimate of a points per 100 team possessions that a player contributes above a replacement level player, translated to an average team or prorated to an 82 game season. So basically, it's basically taking per 100 possessions how much you're contributing to those 100 possessions, and then it's taking a similar player that's on your team that would replace him and say that's how much like value he's providing over that if that other person was playing every day.
So it's basically looking at how much better or worse you are than the average player on your team.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, we got quiet. Trae Young just hit his 31st point of the second half.
He's about to win.
Also,
Wow.
bang, yes, $50 in the pocket. I need it. I'm bleeding money this week. Anyway, I think that's. I kind of went on a rant, so.
That's okay. We do that here.
I hear Wade a lot.
Indeed. No, I just here's my thing. I think their statistics are similar, and I mean the per game stuff. Obviously, the career totals aren't similar at this point. With Bird playing in a much tougher era and without switching teams every 5 minutes to stack his team, and accomplished, similar winning. And success outside of like the longevity stuff.
I could see some of that, but I will also say he didn't come into a Cavs team that was at the very beginning of LeBron. He did no GMing on his first team, and that team was brutally bad. And I'm pretty sure Bird came into a pretty nice situation in Boston.
I think they won 28 games the year before he got there.
But I mean, that team was pretty stacked when he hit his peak. He didn't have to do anything. That team was behind him, giving him good players.
Yes, Red Auerbach was a very good general manager or whatever he was at that point.
Executive, yeah.
Executive,
whatever.
yeah.
He ran things in Boston, period.
Yeah, for like what?
Ever.
Like 30 or 40
saying.
years.
Yeah. First off, it wasn't socially acceptable to be jumping teams very much in that era.
No.
One. And two, he didn't have any reason to jump because he had a very good front office that supported him. Dan Gilbert is not he's an idiot.
Okay.
Let's just be honest.
I'll give you that. Dan Gilbert is an idiot, first off. And the Cavs didn't provide him with a ton of talent the first time he was in Cleveland. And I personally think, maybe I'm wrong, but we wouldn't be having this conversation if LeBron wouldn't have continued it. If LeBron jumps to Cleveland makes his super team, joins up with D Wade and Bosch and all that, and then doesn't jump again and make another super team and jump again and make another super team, we forget about it. Kind of like we did with, at this point, we don't really talk about KDs anymore. The Golden State, I mean. Or other guys that have done it here recently, because we get over that initial one. It's when you keep bringing it up to the forefront and keep doing it that.
But shouldn't we be bringing up about KD? Because he literally just did it again. It just it didn't work out because James Harden basically quit on him. But they recruited him, and him and Kyrie went there together, and then they recruited Harden into it. They got that trade to go. So I mean,
yeah, no,
I'm saying now. First off, LeBron didn't start the super team. The Celtics started the super team.
Well, it depends.
How is it? It depends. I want to.
Well, I don't. First off, I think it's impossible for the Celtics to start the super teams, because if the first off, that team was made by the team, not by the players. So if that couldn't have been the first super team if it was made by a team, because then Magic's Lakers would be a super team, and Bird's Celtics would be a super team, or the Celtics from the 60s.
That's the point. It doesn't matter if it's made by the players or made by the front office. They're still a super team. A super team's a super team with a bunch of stars. I think we're getting into semantics about how it's formed. It doesn't matter. It's still a super team. So you're still saying that Bird was on a super team. That's what you just said. So you're proving my point.
I wasn't saying that I mean, maybe they were a super team, but I wasn't trying to say one way or the other. I was just saying that he was the first one to go out and make his own super team. And I do look at it differently, because that's just you admitting defeat. Like, I can't handle this. I can't hang anymore. So I'm going to go join up. Like, we're talking about, like, the two best players in the NBA at that point. There was a legit argument between who was better, LeBron or D Wade, and who was the best player in the NBA. And now they're all of a sudden they're on the same team. And that was huge. Now, I will say this. We were talking about KD a minute ago. I think what KD did was worse.
Way worse, going to a team that won like 68 games the year before.
73.
Yeah, and then he goes and joins because he gets tired of losing to LeBron.
Well,
that year in the West.
That year he lost to the 73-win team. He lost to the Warriors and then joined them.
So funny.
That would have been the equivalent of LeBron.
That's why
LeBron joining the
Bird.
Celtics.
That's why he'll never be above Bird for me, because he's never done He's done nothing on his own.
That would have been the equivalent of LeBron joining the Celtics, like joining Pearson, Allen, and Garnett.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. No. That, and I would have looked at him really badly because basically he was losing to them, and the reason he went with Wade is because of those three. Though they were kind of at the tail end,
yeah.
But he saw what they did, those three together, even though they didn't form it themselves. I think that's how it all. The snowball effect. It kind of started rolling downhill, and I do take it into consideration when I put him in. Where is he rated? Because I do. That is a knock against him. It is, and it's definitely a knock against him against MJ, because, I mean, MJ's team was pretty legit, and I would almost call it a super team, but they built that up from the ground up. The right way, more the right way. Through, trades and acquisitions and free agent signings and drafts.
I mean, they drafted Jordan, they drafted Scotty, they drafted Horace Grant.
But, I mean, Horace was on the first two, and then he left.
He was on the first three.
First
and Rodman was on the last three. Yeah.
Gotcha. And how did they get Rodman? I can't remember.
They traded for him from San Antonio, right? They either traded for him or signed him because
he was a monster.
But he came from San Antonio.
I don't remember how he got there. Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, obviously they didn't draft him. The Pistons drafted him. But
I don't remember how he ended up leaving the Pistons. But
they cut him because remember he tried to kill himself.
Yeah.
Or he was found in the parking garage with a gun.
Oh yeah.
And
I forgot about that.
Which again is something that if that happened today and the team just cut him and said go away, that would be a PR nightmare.
Oh,
but
yeah.
since it was like 1990 or 91, people just kind of were like, oh, okay, he's a problem, get him out of here. And that was acceptable, I guess. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that until recently.
I didn't know that at all. It's kind of mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
a little fun fact there.
he went missing. Somebody called him missing. I don't remember who it was. And they found him. The cops found him in the Pistons parking garage in his car, drunk with his shotgun. Yeah.
Wow.
And then he went to the Spurs and was an absolute team-killing disaster with the Spurs. You know, couldn't get along with anybody, refusing to go back into games. You know, that was the original, like, coloring your hair and acting crazy. But it was, like, a detriment to the team. But then he went to Chicago, and Mike and Scotty were like, hey, man, I don't give a shit what you do at home or
just
whatever.
win.
But, yeah, I just need you to win on the court. And Robin's like, I think I can do that. Anyway, Shal, I think we got off on a tangent. We were talking about the Bulls there, but you were trying to make a point about. You said something. Jordan was on a homegrown team or whatever.
Yeah, more of a homegrown team, and I mean, I do take that into.
I think Clint Capella, did that just mess up Clint Capella's knee? They just helped me out. They're helping him off the floor.
Oh, the game's over.
Oh, so the Hawks won but lost their starting center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty much done now. So I will be betting against them. I can't remember, but I mean, so the GOAT conversation's out, and basically from what you're saying is the team building,
Mm-hmm.
but his sheer dominance when he even with those teams, I mean, statistically still shows.
Yeah. I'm not. Here's my thing. I don't like LeBron, so I say a lot of negative things about him. But I'm not trying to say he's bad.
Sounds like you think he's bad.
No, I have him as the 7th greatest player of all time, and I just said there's a possibility he could go up.
So I'm still trying to understand your reasoning for why Bird is better. I still don't get it.
He did virtually as much with less, and with the ball less, significantly less.
For basically a fraction of the time that LeBron has done it.
That is true.
So,
In an easier era of basketball.
okay. I mean, statistically, and longevity, I don't get how you could ever put him up front.
I can't argue longevity. I can't. I fully admit that LeBron's longevity is asinine. No arguments here.
No.
And accomplishments, because those are now stacking up way past anything Bird's done.
Yeah,
Bird has two things that are he's the only player to ever done. LeBron has 30.
I don't
Yeah.
know what those things are, but
But I mean, I can start listing them, but I don't want to just take up. Like, this is where I'm trying not to get too much into stats because we could go on forever.
Sure.
Because of how long he's played and some of the things he's done. The list goes, but that stuff has to start coming into account.
yes.
And I feel like you're disregarding those things.
I'm not disregarding it. I just don't think that the whole conversation is longevity. Because that's really where the difference is. The stats go back and forth between the two of them per game, and he does have one more. He does have one more finals. His bubble chip put him over the top there, and he has one more MVP. Excuse me, I have some drainage going on over here.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're very close when it comes to all those things. Now he does have a bunch more All NBAs. There's a lot more All NBAs available today than there was then. Like all but one of Bird's All NBAs are first teams. I don't know about LeBron's. I honestly don't. But he does have a bunch of them. like what, 17 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then he has defensive ones where Bird doesn't. I think he has one second team. That's it.
Bird has 3 all defensive teams. I think I don't know how many LeBron has.
6.
6. So yeah, 3 to 6. Yeah. Hey, if you want to argue who's the better defender, I'll relinquish that one to you too.
Okay.
I got to be honest. I learned a lot studying for this episode. I'm still not fond of LeBron James, but I got to respect everything he's done. We've spent a lot of time talking about championships, and he has got 4. And we've spent a lot of time talking about MVPs, and we put a lot of stock in them at first, and then we saw that some of them weren't maybe what they ought to be. So I dug into LeBron's.
Before you move on, I don't know if I would even say some at this point. We haven't found an MVP we've liked in quite some time.
That's true. There's been a lot of them messed up.
So LeBron should have more. He got robbed on some of his best seasons. Like there's seasons he didn't get it, and that was the season he should have got it. And there's other seasons he probably shouldn't have got it compared to somebody else and got it.
That's kind of what I found. Yeah. I dug into it, and the 4 he won, arguably, he probably should have. Some of them were close, but he probably really should have won the 4 he got. And twice he finished second. One of those, I think he really was second. But the other one, he probably should have won the MVP over Nash that one year.
Oh, is it talking about 05, 06?
Let me look here.
Yeah, Nash won in 05, 06.
Yeah, I believe that's the one.
Freaking Steve Nash's MVPs are ridiculous.
Well, during the Nash episode, we talked about Nash's MVPs.
That's my big...
Probably not being legit.
I mean, that year...
None of his were legit.
No.
And at least in my mind.
Nash was 18-8, 4.2 rebounds, 10.5 assists. LeBron was 31-4, 7 rebounds, and 6.6 assists. I mean,
it just doesn't make any sense.
I was down like, whoa.
Statistically does not add up.
Yeah. And something that we probably need to discuss, Drew and I were talking about it as we were going home from the last episode. We make a big deal out of Mike winning 6 out of 6 championships.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, I think you need to get to 6 to talk with Michael, but it's going to come up probably in the Kareem episode, so I'm giving away a little bit here. But what's better, winning 6 out of 6 or winning 6 out of 9? Which, in a way, helps LeBron a little bit because he's got 4 out of 10. Is it better to not even get there? I mean, but I got to say, you've got to win 6 to be in the conversation.
I totally agree.
Because that's
with
how
that.
many Mike got.
And that's why LeBron won't. LeBron's not going to make it.
No, he's not going to get there.
He's on the downhill slide, even though somehow he's overshooting and scoring 30 points.
Yeah, it is amazing he scored 30 this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of had to. Did you see Westbrook throwing it off the side of the backboard every game?
Don't forget the shot clock.
Yeah.
I mean, he just fell off a cliff. Like,
Good old Westbrook.
oh, brick, yeah.
Don't say that. You're insulting his family.
Yes.
Okay,
He demanded
can't handle
that.
criticism from an 18-year-old. I mean, good night. He's in the NBA.
You just said good night.
I mean, come on.
That needs to be your new tagline. After you say something, and good night.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
By the way, I do want to point out the team sucked, but that the season you're talking about with LeBron finishing second, that's also the year that Kobe averaged 35.
So, yeah.
So it could have been either one of those two over Nash.
Anyone
But
but
definitely,
Nash.
we all agree it probably shouldn't have been Nash.
Right.
Yeah, D Wade had a good year that year. He averaged 27, 5, and 6. Yeah, Allen Iverson averaged 33 and 7 that year.
I think that might have been the year he should have won his second one. I think that might have been the year he won his second one. I try to move this away when I'm looking at the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, and a lot of times when we talk about these MVPs, we go in and we end up looking at teams' records to see, like, a lot of times, like, there's some 60-win team and a team with 30 wins or whatever, something like that. That's not the case here. Nash and the Suns won 54 games, and LeBron and Cleveland won 50. So,
Yeah. So they're
I mean,
comparable there too.
yeah. So I'm not. We were never overly thrilled with
No.
Nash's MVPs anyway, but.
No, not at all.
Did you guys have him in your point guard top fives?
Yeah, we all had Nash on our list, but
Towards the bottom, I assume.
I think he's my number 10.
Of all time?
No.
10
on the point guard.
on the point guard.
on the
No,
point
not
guard
all
list.
time.
I was
No.
going to say, man,
I don't even know where I have.
you're
Nash.
getting into some drugs or something over there. If you're putting him up that high.
Yeah, I had him 8 on my point guard list. So
I'll get the rest.
I got him
Yeah, I'll
27 overall.
Wade has him
It's not
at
too bad.
38 overall. Alex has him at
He was a beast.
35. Where'd you say you had him at?
I had
I
him
would say in the
8
30s would
and
be pretty.
38.
Around 30 to 40, I think sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we have him at.
Yeah, I don't want to insult him. He was a hell of a point guard. He just wasn't the MVP of the league.
Yeah, he was the engine of that team. Like,
He was, yes.
I mean, Amari fell off the face of the earth once he didn't have Nash. So
I mean, Kidd and Nash during that time were just able to take anybody that could run and jump and make them a good player.
yeah, I'll just throw you lobs. Just
Yeah,
dunk.
yeah.
No, and that's how that's like DeAndre Jordan. Like
Yeah,
Right.
Chris Paul with DeAndre Jordan
He
and
just-
Blake Griffin, or with David West was a multi-time All-Star with Chris Paul and with the Hornets.
Right.
it's
Tyson
crazy what
Chandler.
it's crazy what a good point guard can do, or
Mhm.
at least if it's not a point guard, someone who can distribute really well because they can they can mask a lot of problems.
Yes, I would agree with that. And those Phoenix teams were just stupid fun to watch. They were so exciting. But anyway, this isn't the Steve Nash episode. Did you have any more points to make about the MVPs, Uncle Doug?
No, that was it. I just wanted to discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, I hadn't even checked out his MVPs, to be honest with you. I hadn't even looked at them. Even though they're in my lifetime, I don't really know a ton about them. But only thing I remember was, and a lot of people I know personally will be mad at me for this, but D Rose did not deserve his MVP.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah, personally, I thought Dwight Howard should have won it that year, but LeBron was right there as well. But both of them had much better seasons than Derrick Rose. But again, he was the best player on the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of semantics that go into that award now.
Well, it
It's
seems
not-
like if you win it a couple times, then they don't give it to you for a while. That happened to Michael Jordan. I mean, as good as he was and as dominant as he was, he should have won more than he did. And
I
he
mean,
still won a lot.
He probably should have won one of Karl Malone's. Was it 97 or 98? One of those years that Mailman won it.
Yeah.
There's a case. I mean, Barkley had a really great season the year he did, but there's a case MJ might have got that one too.
He talks about in the Last Dance how he thinks he should have won all of them.
I mean,
That's-
yeah.
I mean,
He thinks he has a
that's
case
his
in all
that's
of them.
his killer attitude though. He doesn't.
Well, I mean,
He uses that shit as fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Draymond Green just said on his podcast 2 days ago that the 73-win Warriors are the greatest team ever. And then Steph Curry said, yes, we were the greatest team ever, but you guys didn't fucking win.
Right, he didn't win the title.
So you can't be the greatest team ever and lose. Like,
Which that's another feather in LeBron's hat. That is probably the second greatest team ever because they lost to the Cavs. But
are you saying the Cavs are the greatest team ever?
yes, no, no. But them beating them and him averaging a triple double in that series is I think it's the only triple double to ever be averaged in the finals. So another fun LeBron fact. So that series alone, it makes up a little bit. What's up?
What year was that?
18?
Is it?
I thought it was 2016.
16.
Yeah,
16.
16.
Yeah.
I remember
2016.
Sorry, I was just trying to find it so I could pull it up. What's up? Oh,
There must be a ghost in here.
yeah.
I thought it was Wade.
I did think it was Wade.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Difficulties there with the door. That series, well, no. I pulled up 16, but Durant's, that's 17. Damn it. 16.
Also in that series, I think he's the only player ever to lead both teams in all stats.
He is that. I know that.
For,
yeah.
for what is it? The top 5 stats with blocks,
Yeah.
steals,
Mhm.
rebounds, assists, points. Both teams, he led every statistical category.
I didn't remember that.
He's just lucky Iguodala wasn't feeling it that series.
That's right.
Like the year before.
Iguodala, that series before, that guy couldn't miss, and he has the ugliest jumper. That thing is a rainbow.
So in 16, Cavs win the finals against the Warriors, like we were speaking of. LeBron averages 29, 11, and 9, 2 steals and 2 blocks. He shoots 49%, 37%, 72%. While he has Kyrie averaging 27, 4, and 4. And then, by the way, Kevin Love averages 8 points and 6 rebounds.
He was garbage. It was the Kyrie LeBron show. That whole
Yeah,
series.
Kevin
Yeah.
Love was not.
Well, the last 2 games of the series, I think I'm correct in saying this. The last 2 games of the series, LeBron and Kyrie scored 40 in both games.
Yeah, they're like the only.
Yeah, that was.
So, Ray, how do you feel like Kevin Love's getting brought up again? Because I remember thinking like the very first episode he got brought up and you were not happy.
No, because he's not on that kind of level. He's okay, but he's not great.
No, I think
Definitely agree with
I think
that.
Kevin Love was better than his reputation is remembered now. But he's not in this conversation of top 50 players.
He was better when he was on an island by himself.
Yeah.
When he was,
He was a beast in Minnesota.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
then I don't know what happened when he came to Cleveland. He turned himself too much into a jump shooter, and didn't get on the block enough.
Well, can I ask you this?
Oh, here we go.
Well, I mean, isn't that what LeBron forces all of his teammates to do? Is become a spot-up shooter? Because I have to dominate the ball and I have to give it to you when I'm ready. Isn't that LeBron's whole style of play?
It is his style of play, but it doesn't mean he can't be on the block. He can still go down on the block.
But I don't want people on the block because then you're in my way.
I'm saying even when LeBron wasn't even on the floor,
Yeah.
Kevin Love was still on the 3-point line, not on the block. So you can't be blaming that on LeBron.
That part may be true. I mean,
Oh, that part is true. That guy wouldn't leave the 3-point line.
He's a shooter.
Yes, LeBron rather have it the spacing so he can drive because that's how he can distribute. So yes, that might have hurt Kevin Love a little bit, but it shouldn't have destructed his whole style of game even when LeBron's off the floor.
here's my question. This is a LeBron GM question. Why does he keep teaming himself up with big men when he doesn't want them to play like big men? Like, quit going out and getting big men that you don't want to stand in the paint. Like, you went and get Chris Bosh, and he completely remade himself to play with those 2 guys because D-Wade couldn't shoot either. So it was, now all 3 of us need to be in the paint to score. That doesn't make any sense. So we're going to take the 6'10" guy and make him go stand 3-point land. Then he went to Cleveland, and they got Kevin Love and made him still stand in the corner. And then the first guy he got in L.A. was Anthony Davis, another big guy that is not a very good shooter, but now we're shooting an assload of jump shots. Why not just go out and get shooters?
We already talked about Westbrook.
Yeah, that was a mistake, a huge mistake.
Bad mistake.
But we all knew who Westbrook was. I don't understand why LeBron and AD didn't understand who Westbrook was. I mean, Westbrook has been this guy his whole career.
I'm not even going to debate this one. That made no sense. I think I think it's a bad overall in NBA. They have no concept of running an actual offense anymore. So everything is whoever your star is. Put people around who can at least shoot jumpers, and then they just play 1-on-1.
Yes.
And that's basically, and that's I don't care what team you're talking about. Everything is 1-on-1 now, and that's, I think, one of the downfalls of the NBA compared to like back in the '80s. They were running actual set plays, and it was nice and watching ESPN Classic. That's nice to see. Like, hey, look at that nice like flare. Like, look at that flare screen. That's a real great flare screen. That's why he got that open jumper. Not I dribble for 20 seconds of the shot clock and then dish it, and the guy does a fadeaway 3-pointer.
So
this cat's gonna jump on my head.
He is.
So let me ask you guys this. With I think LeBron and KD and Curry all recently have changed the NBA in different ways. You know, the way you join up with your teammates, and the way you bounce around and hold franchises hostage, and the way Curry just changed the way we play offense, essentially. We just jack from deep. Even if you're not a good shooter, that's the part that bothers me. I'm going to go off on a tangent if I keep talking about this, but...
Oh, no.
This cat is hunting shallow right now.
That's pretty high.
Sorry, everybody. We're Ray's cat's about to kill Schaller, so if you hear a bunch of screaming in a minute, we'll try and help Schaller.
Get my neck.
Anyway, I'll leave the shooting alone. But they've changed basketball in a way. I don't want to get into the debate whether it's the changes are good or bad, but have they shot themselves in their own foot? Because now these new guys are coming into the NBA and are like, hey, now what we do is we'll be mercenaries, and we're going to have usage percentages between 30 and 40 every year, and we're going to put up better stats than you. Because, like, let's just look at some of the guys we're talking about now. Let's look at Luka. Luka's putting up better seasons than LeBron or Jordan ever did. Ever. Luka's this season, is better than every year of LeBron's career. Every year of Jordan's career. Like, but it's...
In all statistics? Or
I mean, not every single statistic, but I mean, like...
more about scoring?
I mean, he's like 27, 8, and 8 this year. You know what I mean? Like, that's stupid good. You know, but do I think Luka's the greatest player of all time? No. You know, but he also has this ridiculously high usage rate because the ball is in his hands every play. He either scores or assists on every basket. But where did that come from? It came from guys like LeBron and Allen Iverson and James Harden and Russell Westbrook. That's what they've been doing for the last decade or a little bit more or whatever.
Well, I mean, them going away from the hand check era has basically changed basketball because all they wanted to do is make it an offensive game because that's what they think brings in fans, which I would agree. We all want to see epic scoring and back and forth.
Sure.
But I think the hand check era is basically when they killed the hand check era, everything's changed because of that. Because
you can get open just by staring at the guy and dribbling in front of them now. That's not how you got open before. You had to, like you said, you had to run an offense to get your guys open.
There's no such thing as an offense because you can't touch the guy or he's flopping around like a dead fish.
And the other one that I think was super helpful for today's players is the arc in front of the rim. Because I can't have a guy in there contesting shots if too close to the rim. Because there's no offensive foul in there. There's no or
Defensive 3 seconds.
defensive 3 seconds.
When did that come into play? Was that always in play?
No, that was
that came in
early mid 2000s.
Yeah, whenever they started letting them play like the modified zone thing.
Yeah, it was.
Then they put in the defensive 3 seconds.
The defensive 3 seconds came in after Shaq's MVP season.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it in the Shaq episode. So he won the MVP in 2000.
It would have been the year that he crushed the Sixers.
Yeah. So 2001, 2002.
Tier.
Is when they brought that in.
Yeah, you can't just have your 7-footer camping in there the whole time.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what teams did. You can't tell me Patrick Ewing and those guys didn't just stand in there and wait for you.
Yeah, but people figured out a way to get past that. We didn't have somebody make up a new fucking rule to keep you out of the paint.
So you can't tell me the bad boys didn't stand in the paint not waiting for Michael to come down there.
No, they were.
They literally just stood there. Lambert stood there just waiting for him.
I was actually listening to Luca on JJ Redick's podcast the other day, which is really good, by the way. Wade loves the hell out of it.
Wade? No comment? Okay.
And Luca, he asked Luca, what are you reading before you attack the basket? And he said multiple things, but the first thing he said was, he's like, every couple of seconds, the big man for the other team has to run out of the paint. And as soon as they turn to run, I attack. Which is smart. I'm not knocking him for it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but now there's a guy attacking the rim, and I have to get both my feet out of the paint and try and run back to him.
Sounds like a sprinting drill, like a basketball practice. You got to try and get out and get back in, like try and contest.
It's
before.
Going around cones or something.
Yeah, what is that? The shuttle. The shuttle run. Like,
right.
Yeah, like I got to get over here and touch that and get it back over here. They've set so many. My point is, though, we got a little bit off topic, but they've set so many things up to help these guys offensively, and like Schaller said, it's just give the ball to your best player. He runs isolation, and that's our offense. We see it for most of the league now, unless you don't have a superstar, and then you have to run something to get lesser players looks. So are we going to be in 10 years? I mean, obviously health plays a role in this, obviously, but in 10 years, are we going to be like, well, we have 10 guys with more stats and accolades than everybody we're talking about?
It's possible.
Because, I mean, Jokic is tearing the record books apart right now, too.
Yeah, I mean, but this comes into the longevity part. How longevity will these guys have at this rate and this usage rate? I think the usage rate is high, but I also think that limits their longevitiness for some of them, because
some of them are going to get hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're used that much, you're not. I mean, knock on wood, but LeBron's been pretty freakish to be used as much as he's been used over 19 years, and still be able to basically be in at least 60 to 70 games every single season. It's just crazy to think about that. And I think, like, Jokic is probably going to get hurt if he continues his usage rate at this rate. I mean, the ball is in his hands 90% of the game.
Well, and Luka, I mean, do you think he's going to hold up for that long?
I think Luke, I mean, he doesn't have enough years in to qualify for the overall list yet, but I do believe Luka has the highest usage percentage in the history of basketball.
Yeah.
He's going to crush it. I mean, that whole offense is, I mean,
yeah,
he only misses maybe 8 minutes a game, and then the whole rest of the game, he's literally...
He brings the ball up. He does everything with it.
Well, I'm looking up some of these guys. He's
dribbling for 20 seconds, and then he's either shooting it, driving it, or passing it.
Mm-hmm.
So this year is Jokic highest usage percentage season at 32. So he's at 32.
Which is about right around where LeBron's is at.
Yeah, right around where LeBron's at.
With Jokic is,
but
two of his best players aren't even
That's
playing.
crazy. He's a center. And his usage rate... I mean, Embiid's has got to be pretty high too. His is probably just a little bit lower because he doesn't play as many minutes. But Embiid's has been crazy this year, probably as well.
Yeah, I'll look it up in just a second. But you can think about this though. We talked about it a little bit last week, but Jokic's season stats this year: 27, 13, and 8 on 58% shooting.
Yeah, I mean that's a season.
That's stupid, man.
Yeah.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to guess that's better than anything we're going to see from Jabbar or Dream or any of those guys.
Well, none of them are averaging 8 assists a game.
No, the assist is the best we've ever seen out of a center.
Yeah.
That's no joke. But even the 58%, other than Shaq, who else shoots 58%? Yeah, and on scoring 27 points. It's not like he's DeAndre Jordan. I shot 60% from the field this year and averaged 6. You know?
Yeah, taking 4 shots a game.
Right, and they're all dunks by alley-oops from Chris Paul.
So they're all lobs.
Yeah.
And he only misses one because he slams it off the back of the rim and it flies to half court.
I got Luka pulled up here. Let me get his usage percentage here. By the way, I'm bummed he's hurt and going to miss part of the playoffs because they're going to get their ass whooped without him.
They might as well count them out now.
Luka's usage percentage this year was 37, which I think is the third highest ever.
What is the highest ever?
Westbrook at 44. The first year he averaged triple-double.
That whole season was just a stat pad.
Yeah. Luka has led the league in usage percentage the last 2 years. And 3 years ago, his usage percentage was higher than 2 years ago, but he didn't lead the league. So, I don't know who led the league that year, but...
Well, it'll be interesting to see how long he plays, or whether the injuries will start catching up with him. With that, I mean...
That's what I'm afraid of with John Morant.
He's going to be... yeah.
Well, John Morant is going to get hurt. He's too small to be slamming into guys all the time.
Yeah.
Luka and Jokic are big.
Yeah, they're bigger guys.
He's so exciting to watch, though.
He is super exciting.
Yeah, I love to watch
But he reminds me so much of prime Derrick Rose, though.
Yes, that's why I said coming out of college, I'm like, if he can stay healthy, or he's going to end up like Derrick Rose.
Yeah, I mean, but look, Derrick Rose, D. Wade, John Wall, all these guys that were freaky athletic point guards, or smaller guards, they all ended up falling apart physically. Their bodies just couldn't keep that pounding up because they couldn't shoot, so they're constantly going at the rim and attacking all these bigs and getting slammed to the floor all the time. And they just couldn't. And I love watching it. It's exciting as hell to watch Morant go down there and try and yak on Gobert 5 times a game. Every time he plays, Gobert is hilarious.
That's a whole other conversation. Gobert. Oh.
Yeah, Schaller thinks Gobert is the greatest player since sliced bread.
What? don't
That was a joke, by the way.
Okay, I was just say, don't even talk to me about old Rudy. I went on a rant last episode about Gobert.
Hey, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy
You get
Gobert.
picked on in the playoffs. Game 7, bring him outside. I want him.
Are you saying you think you could score on Rudy Gobert?
I am. I told you guys last week.
I thought the Clippers game was on.
Yeah, what happened in the Clippers game, Ray?
I don't know.
We're not watching the Mets. Let's go, man.
It's not. There's no game on right now. There's
Yes, there is.
Sports Center.
Well, is it on a different station?
No,
Because it started at 9 o'clock.
I say it's on.
Calm down, everybody.
I will calm down as soon as it's on.
Breathe. Just breathe.
There it is right there.
TNT.
I'll get it there.
TNT.
TNT.
Which is
dynamite.
let's just say this. TNT's broadcast is light years better than ESPN's broadcast. ESPN's halftime, pregame, and postgame show is garbage.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Do we want to kind of wrap this back to LeBron? Because we kind of went on a...
No, yes, I was trying to bring it back to LeBron. Well, I guess what I'm saying is like this is the era of stat padding. And when does it stop? Or if it doesn't stop, are all these guys we're talking about gonna be, a lot less relevant in a couple of years? Because Giannis is well on his way to smashing statistical records, and he's got a title with 2 MVPs already, and he's only 26.
He sounds
Yeah, he's
about
pretty
right.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I will say LeBron has stat padded some, but his longevity
It's
is even if he didn't stat pad, his longevity would still put him in almost all the top statistical categories. So that's kind of how you debunk he stats pads. He's even if he would have kept on not stat pad and averaged a few less points a game, he would have caught the all-time scoring record, even without stat padding.
I get, like you said, his longevity is stupid.
Well, that's what I'm trying to debunk the stat padding. Yes, there are some stat padding in there, but that's just the era that we're in. So you have to take a little bit into account for that. But even if you say you take away maybe one or half assist per season, or maybe a point or something per season, I mean, he's still averaging for the last 18 years over 25 points per game every single season. So take away a point, he's still going to be, instead of 1 year away, maybe he's 2 years away from passing the all-time scoring thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that like in 10 years we'll be like LeBron's the 30th best player of all time. I'm not that far into it. I guess my original question was just, did these guys shoot themselves in their foot? Because not just the stat padding and those types of things, but now everybody wants to jump around and play together. So what if in 3 more years we're talking about Kawhi having more titles than LeBron because he just jumps around and mercenaries his way to a bunch of titles?
Kawhi can't stay healthy.
Well, that's a fair assessment.
And it's been proven over the last 4 years. I mean, 2 of his seasons have basically been non-existent. So
yeah, I was just using Kawhi as an example.
Yeah. I get it, but yeah, he's one. I think his non-longevity is going to hurt him because he's going to be more like a bird and only have 4 to 5 prominent years in his prime, and that's all we're going to be basing him off of is just those prominent years.
Well, how many years has Kawhi been in the league? Because
he's been. I mean, has to be in his low 30s now, right?
Yeah, we're getting close to 10.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's 22 to 30. So he'd be like 32 if it's 10 years.
He's been in the league 10 years.
That was
So he has to be 32, 33.
Yeah, he is. Hold on. He was born in December of 11. So, or wait, that was the year. That was the year he was.
So he's 10 years old.
Came into the league. Sorry, the year he came into the league. He was born in 91. Sorry,
so he'd be 31.
He's getting ready to turn 31. Yes,
and he's still only played 500 games.
Yeah, 500 games. Yeah,
that's so weak.
That's almost half of Bird, and Bird,
right?
So like, I know Wade had him on his list. Like that alone, right there. See ya. Like you don't even have enough games to qualify, bro.
No, that was pretty much the argument the rest of us used in the Kawhi episode. Was like, dude, he hasn't played enough.
Right, we're just waiting to see whether he's going to do more.
But I mean, he missed this whole season?
Yeah, every game he hasn't played.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a whole year in his prime that he just missed and he's getting close to exiting his prime in another 2 years. So like next year and the year after that, he has to win ships in both those years.
Yeah.
Because that's his only chance of being the superstar A on your team. Because after that, he'll be a superstar B or C, not win the Finals MVP, and then that'll automatically kick you out of the conversation as well.
Yeah. Like I said, I was just using Kawhi as an example because he's got a couple.
Well, I wanted to really stick the knife in and turn for Wade since he's not here. That one's good for you, Wade. AI forever.
I'm sure he'll feel it later when he listens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple guys with a few titles right now. I mean, Kawhi has 2, KD has 2, Curry has 3.
KD's are pretty weak, though.
I mean, you heard me earlier, right?
Yeah.
I don't like it, but
he still has 2.
I mean, they are, I don't know, lesser titles, I guess is the way I would put it. But I think by that logic, though, you could use that same very similar logic to LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, he jumped to a team to win championships. I mean, and that's what LeBron's doing too. Now, I said what KD did was worse because he joined the team that beat him, but hey, well, I compared it to what was it the KD episode? I remember trying to remember what I said, but it was like I said somebody joined Michael. I can't remember, like Michael's 72 win Bulls, and I was like, oh, and then after the season, I can't remember who I said was the second best player. Like Barkley or Malone joined the Bulls.
Yeah, went and joined them,
and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, so yeah. Anyway, I guess we have gotten away from LeBron. Wow. So, should we give our? Or does anybody else have anything? I haven't even done litigation.
I was going to say, do we have litigation? Or are we to the point of the season, or the point of these that we don't really have that much? Anymore?
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for it anyway, so we can decide to do litigation. We're 70 minutes in, so we're doing all right. So should we give our closing statements on LeBron and then move on to trivia?
Sure.
All right. Well, Ray, go ahead, buddy.
All right. And as much as I roasted LeBron this whole episode, he's still in my top 10. Because you can't get away from the fact of all the stats and all the other stuff he's put up and all his accolades. Wah, wah. But sometimes he just fucking irks me to where he could just throw it down, a little bit effort here and a little bit effort there, and it'd be all right. But no, you want to do like 3 straight seasons in Miami showing us just how to do a flop. Like, it was flop central for 3 straight years, and it just, are you serious? But, yeah, I'll show him some props, but I have a personal vendetta.
I got a question for you real quick, Ray, before we move away from you.
Okay.
Is LeBron going to move ahead of Pippen after this?
I can't give away my secrets.
That's not going to happen. Even though anybody listening to this is like, this guy is crazy.
All right, that would lead to me. Like I said, it's no secret. I'm not a big LeBron guy. I'm not a big fan of his exploits, I guess is the best way to put it. But he is a great player, has been a great player for a really long time. I don't like the way he gets to where he's going, but he does get there. So, you got to give him his props for that. And he is, doing something we've never really seen before as far as, playing at this high of a level this late in your career. It was really impressive what he did this year. Individually. I mean, the team really sucked, even though there's a bunch of really talented players on it. And apparently it's Frank Vogel's fault. But, yeah, he's a great player. Drew?
Yeah, I like what you said about how I don't agree with how he did some of this stuff, but you got to give him credit for what he's done, how all the stuff he's gotten, and this year is very impressive, even though the team sucked. But LeBron, I think, is one of the top 5 players of all time. I don't really see him moving up at all on my list. I think I'm pretty comfortable with him sitting at 4. So I think that's all for what I got for old LeBron.
Uncle Doug?
Yeah. Again, I'm not a big LeBron guy. When he first came into the league, I liked LeBron. I liked he was playing for his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. Taking a team that wasn't that great. He was doing everything he could. He had the one finals with Cleveland where he was pretty much everything. But starting with the decision, I kind of went the other way on LeBron. That kind of
to go to South Beach.
And when he went back to Cleveland, I'm like, well, maybe this will be okay. But then he came to L.A., and I was very skeptical, and things have gone south fast. He is a great player, though. My complaints aren't so much with his abilities as it is other things. And doing the research for this episode, a lot of that came out. just what a great player he really is. I think sometimes we get wrapped up in other things. So I got to give him credit, and I do have him pretty high on my list. I don't think he's going anywhere. He and Magic might flip-flop, but we'll see how the Magic episode goes.
All right. Shallow, would you like to give a closing statement on LeBron?
So I really like what you said. So you basically just stated.
Hold on, we're about to have a technical difficulty.
Yeah. Anyway, how you said when you look at his body of work, it's really impressive, and sometimes the nuances of some of the outside factors, I think, skews people's views on him a little bit versus what he's actually accomplished on the floor. Yes, there's some knocks. There's the decision. I mean, I don't know who his marketing person was, but should have been fired pretty quickly for that one. Because I don't know who in their mind thought that was a good idea. Then there's the loss to the Mavericks in the finals that you can hold against him because he was absolute garbage in that. I don't even know what the hell he was doing in that series. And then, there's, over the past, since he's, when he left Miami, then he kind of now is doing that player GM BS, and I think that rubs people the wrong way too. So I think those are some knocks. But if you take some of that BS off to the side, when you look at him statistically, then the longevity, and then his versatility of playing multiple positions, being able to defend multiple positions, expanding his game with a three-point line, which has gotten, he's now went from like a 20% to a 35% three-point shooter over the last probably 5 or 6 years. And then I think with all the negative stuff, we kind of forget about his influence on the NBA and what it's done for the league over the last 19 years, because he's done a lot of good things for the NBA, and he's also done a lot of good thing in charity work. So him as a human being, he might have done he might do questionable things when it comes to his basketball career, but overall, great person. And I think we have raised questions about people's character in the past. Going back to Allen Iverson. So I think overall, when you look at those statistical advantages he has over a lot of people, and then the longevity, and then some of those accolades and that versatility, I think he's the best shooting forward of all time. And then, I think it's arguable he's anywhere from 3 to 7 or 8, depending on your list on what you kind of value the most. So,
obviously I didn't bring it up today because I don't think. I was going to agree with what Schaller said. He's done some really great things personally.
He has.
The opening of the school.
Yeah.
He gives a lot of stuff to charity. I think he does a college scholarship program for kids. He buys book bags full of school supplies for kids and all sorts of cool stuff like that.
He gives college scholarships out.
Yeah.
To I think it's 20 kids a year. Mm-hmm. So that's that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Granted he's just using a dump truck to back him into his house with how much he makes.
Yeah.
Well, see, now that's respectable. But then you have on the other hand where he goes and makes Space Jam 2, which is the biggest shit. So then you got to knock on that one.
I will agree. Space Jam 2 was a disgrace.
I didn't watch it. I don't want to know.
Save yourself 2 hours.
Here's my thing.
I'm not even sure the concept. I didn't even get the concept.
So here's my question, and another question for everybody. But I guess Schaller being our resident LeBron guy, he could probably go first. LeBron wants everybody to think he's better than Jordan. He's said it multiple times now, but he keeps doing things like that, like wearing his number and making Space Jam 2. Things like that where he's copying Jordan, and it's well, if you're trying to be your own guy and trying to separate yourself from Jordan, why do those things? You know what I mean? Like,
Again, maybe he needs a new marketing guy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's made, like Shaw said, truckloads of money.
Oh, yeah.
So he's doing some things right. I don't know what the.
I mean, he's changed his number again. It's back to 6.
Yeah, he's changed it again. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, yeah, he started as 23. But I mean, I think at the beginning of his career, when he started as 23, it was because he idolized Michael Jordan, and who knew if he was. I mean, at that time, he didn't know he was going to be really chasing, in his mind, chasing that GOAT status. I mean, to me, there's no, unless somehow he miraculously wins 2 more championships at this and dominates and wins an MVP while doing that. Well, I don't know how you can have him in the argument as the number 1 overall player of all time.
We'll just ask him. He'll tell you. He says it on his little barbershop show.
Oh yeah, I mean, first of all, I like that about him. He should try to think he's the number 1 player of all time.
I think everybody should think they're great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't knock him for saying I'm the best of all time. I mean, I'd actually be probably more disappointed if he didn't say that, because that means he doesn't have confidence in himself.
Yeah, I agree. I think all these guys should think they're great. I just don't think if you're the greatest of all time, you should have to tell us.
I mean, I'll argue that one, because Michael Jordan still to this day brags on how great he is.
He says he's great, but he never ever tells us he's the best. He's the best. He just says he's great.
It's because he doesn't have to, and that's the point.
I agree with that.
We're opening a new argument.
I'm already on that train. You guys don't.
No, I know.
To me.
I was just asking a couple questions. That's all I was trying to do. I don't know. I just feel.
I do think that the gap between Jordan and a lot of other players is a lot smaller than the Michael Jordan people put it out to be. They think like Michael Jordan is here, and then there's no one even effing close, and that's not true. There's a lot of arguments you can make for people. I mean, who won 9? Someone won 9 championships. Was that?
I mean, Russell has 11.
Russell has 11. Yeah. If you're talking about that as, I mean, we always talk about he has 6. He's 6 for 6. Russell has 11. Man, if that's the benchmark, then Russell's the greatest of all. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. So
I've said this for years. I think I'm not saying I buy into all of them, but I think there are 8 players in the history of basketball that have a legit argument they can make to be the greatest player of all time. 8. I think they are Russell and Wilt, Magic and Larry, Jordan, Duncan, LeBron, and I'm missing somebody. Kareem, there you go. Sorry, Kareem. I think those 8 guys all have a case that can be made. I don't.
And I like that. I mean, I think that's valid. But you have a majority of society that doesn't think that way. They just think Michael's the GOAT, and it's like he's here, and then you can just start. You can fill in your blanks below it, and that is what it is. I think there's arguments to be made for a lot of almost all of them that they could be number 1, and I could say I can't debunk what you say, because that's valid. Because there are a lot of holes in Michael's beginning of his resume is not the greatest, and it's a lot of individualized stuff at the very beginning of his career.
I can't remember what episode I said it in. I said it in somebody's episode that I think MJ learned a lesson after he'd been in the league a few years that some guys never learned, but other guys came into the league already knowing. I think guys like Russell and Magic and Larry and even LeBron came into the league knowing they needed their teammates. Guys like Jordan and Kobe and AI and other guys said, I can do this myself.
That's right.
Fantastic point. Great point.
But Jordan learned, 5-6 years in the league, I have to get my teammates involved or I can't win championships. Because he'd already got MVPs, he got Defensive Player of the Year, he got scoring titles, and he was losing in the playoffs every year.
Statistically all there, and then when it came down to like the nitty-gritty, he was just getting it. I mean, he was putting up great numbers in the playoffs, but he was still getting his ass kicked up and down the floor.
Well, sometimes literally.
By Detroit was literally like out there. You got the Undertaker just giving him a choke slam right down the middle of the lane.
And I think there's certain guys. Kobe's borderline, but I think I said it in his episode. I don't know if Kobe ever fully learned that.
Oh, he didn't. I don't think he did. Personally.
I don't.
He might have said he did, but deep down inside,
He didn't.
Kobe thought he could do it himself.
Yeah, AI never learned it. I'm not. I know I'm missing some people, but there were certain guys that never learned it, and I think Mike did, and had a great time for him. Because we talked about it last week on the Bird episode. What would the early 90s have looked like if Bird's back wouldn't have gone out and Magic wouldn't have gotten HIV?
Right.
Because now they're all three still in the prime of their careers, playing with each other, playing against each other. Now we're talking about Mike maybe not have 6 titles. Maybe he's only got 4. Maybe he's
He did luck out there.
Right.
Just Magic had hoes in different area codes.
So I don't know. I went off on a tangent.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think those are all good things, and I think you made a great point. Even, actually, surprisingly, for LeBron on that. I'm shocked that, there are points that you can make for a lot of people in this. I mean, you just overall, it's hard to debate against Michael, but there are certain things you can say for other people that could possibly knock him down a peg. And I think I just want to say like the gap is closer than a lot of people or society makes it out to be. I think that's where I get frustrated the most. I'm like, there's a handful of players that are just as impactful and just as close as could be the GOAT as Michael, and we never even discussed them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Scheller. I do think MJ is the greatest player of all time, but I don't think there's a massive gap between him and the other guys I just named. No, I think they are in a class themselves, to an extent, but the gaps in there are not huge. I think I said something to Ray a couple episodes ago. I can't remember whose episode it was, but he said so-and-so was light years better than somebody else. And I was like, we're talking about 2 top 10 players of all time. Is anybody really light years ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the top 10, if you name your top 10, I think all of them have some kind of attribute or statistic or accomplishment that kind of sets them aside, that makes them, puts them in that GOAT conversation at least. I think we all agree Mike is the greatest, but I think when I look at it in society's point of view, it gets kind of beat down your throat that LeBron can't ever be the GOAT. I get it, he's probably not, but I think you're dismissing some of the things he's accomplished, and that can be for Bird, that can be for Magic, that can be for Wilt, that can be for Kareem, it could be for all of them. I think we overlook their accomplishments because we think, well, Mike's the be-all, end-all of the GOAT conversation.
I talk to, for a living, I talk to teenagers. So I was talking to a group of them a while back, and I can't remember what brought it up, but I just made the comment that Kareem had 6 championships. And like all these teenagers were looking at me like, no, he doesn't.
Oh, because Mike is the only one. Mike can be the only one that has 6 championships.
Right, and I was like, no, he really does. Like, he really has 6 championships.
There's people with more, actually.
Yeah.
Big Shot Bob.
Oh my God!
Well, that's true.
Number 1 of all time, Big Shot Bob. Come on down.
Oh man.
One trick pony.
He was clutch as all
He
good out
he
there.
was clutch, and he's come up in what, probably 10 different episodes.
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point.
Oh, yeah. We always have to talk
We've
about
talked
it.
to him about it a
Shout
bunch of
out.
times. Him and I think he doesn't. He's not approaching Tom Chambers territory.
No, not
Fucking
up
Tom
at all.
Chambers. I'm so.
All right. So I think that'll wrap up our LeBron James portion of this episode, and we can move into trivia. Shyler, would you like to participate in trivia?
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
I can be. I'll be Wade's points, so I won't get any right for you guys.
I appreciate it.
Let's see who's winning right now.
Wade.
There's his trophy sitting right there on the front desk.
What is anybody close to him, or is he running away with it?
I am 6 points back.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He's not even showing up to some of these, and he's still winning.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
He got 3 last week.
Yeah.
He went off last week.
Yeah. So Drew, I assume you're ready.
Yeah. All right. Who scored the first NBA basket?
Oh,
You gotta
you
be
serious?
kidding me.
Can we get a year at least? What was the first year of the NBA?
1946, November 1st.
Oh yeah, because I know a lot of guys from 1946.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Do we even know this guy? Will we even know this guy?
No.
No, that's what I was afraid of.
This is horse shit.
I'll tell you who he played for. The New York Knickerbockers.
This guy is really full of himself right now.
Thanks for being an asshole.
Man.
That's way above and worse than what I do to you guys on a weekly basis. That is ridiculous, but I'll answer.
All right, I wrote down a name.
Yeah, me too. It's it's definitely not from 1946.
I wrote down one.
All right, Ray, you ready?
Hold on.
You guys get kicked at this probably.
Yep, go ahead.
I said Johnson.
Okay.
I said Arizon. Your buddy.
Oh, good old.
I said Rick Fox.
And I said John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
I think you got it.
I think so.
It's O.C. Schutzman.
OC what? Get out of here.
Can someone put him in timeout? 'Cause
What the hell?
Well, we're not giving any points out for that question. Who would like to go next?
Oh, shit. Here, let me read mine while I got it handy.
All right.
And stop me if we've done this one before, because I don't know which one I've done at this point. So I've been running out of questions. But anyway, who on the Lakers this year had the best three-point shooting percentage?
Well, I guess it's not Russell Westbrook.
Don't be giving people answers and shit.
LeBrick.
LeBray.
LeBrick. Now we made him French.
Yeah.
No.
All right, I got mine.
I got one.
I got my answer.
Shall you go?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Sorry.
I said Malik Monk.
I also said Malik Monk.
I also said Malik Monk.
I said Monk too.
The correct answer is Dwight Howard with 53.3%.
That's funny.
So, yeah, there's another one.
Did he
to the
meet
left.
minimum attempts?
I don't. Is it really a minimum attempt to get a percentage?
Well, to qualify for the league leaders, there is.
Yeah.
Well,
But he
I think he's a
already.
league leader. I think he's just the leader of the team.
I mean, I did have Howard.
Nice one.
Right, I thought you were going to say my boy Tyrone.
Hell no. Tyrone.
That was a great trivia question. as
So,
well.
Doug, would you like to go?
Yep. Okay. Following my draft thing.
Oh,
LeBron was number 1 in the 03 draft,
Yep.
which also had Bosh, Wade. It was a really good draft in 03. Very deep.
Mello.
Yeah, Melo. 15 different players from that draft have won championships. How many championships have those 15
shit.
won?
and we're talking about my
Like, okay,
question.
so hold on. So if the Heat win a championship, do all 3 of those players get one, or do all 3 of those players get one apiece?
Is it by player or is it by the
Yeah, by player or by championship?
It's how many championships have those 15 players won?
So by player.
Okay, by player. Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it was the way it was
Just counting
listed.
over here.
Okay.
Can I get an Excel spreadsheet? I need an Excel spreadsheet. Stat. All right, let's go. Mel. Melo's won a ton of them.
Yeah.
All right, I got my answer.
At this point, I'm just gonna guess a number.
Locked in.
I want to discuss some of the. I can't get my marker to right. I want to discuss some of these though. I need a marker.
Oh my God! Let me get a marker.
All right, I'm good.
All right, this marker works great. I'm in.
I said 23.
Oh, I said 12.
26.
I said 20.
Shower got it. 26.
Get out of here.
Wait, that's for you, buddy.
Okay, so can we discuss this? Like, try and figure this out? Because LeBron has 4, D Wade has 3, Bosch has 2,
Right.
Milicic has 1.
Yeah.
But dude, first off, he said there's 15 players, so that had to be 15. It had
I thought he said 15 All Stars.
No. 15 players won championships.
Oh, shit.
so the minimum was 15,
Right,
and
my
then you
bad.
started. Then I started adding the multiples in.
Right.
My bad.
Um,
My bad.
I was debating anywhere from 26 to 28.
Yeah.
So what? So who are the 15 players then?
I didn't have the list.
Oh, you don't have the
I
list?
didn't write
Okay.
it down. Yeah.
So I was trying to debate this in my head too. Was Josh Howard still on the Mavericks when they won their championship?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I mean, that's
he was a pretty good. He's a pretty big role player in
He
that
was
team.
he was good
Yeah.
when he was playing.
He's a good defender.
He ended his career with an injury too. Okay.
So put me in the stat book. I do have 1 point.
That's right.
That's right. You almost caught Ray. Nothing. Just silence.
But he's looking at me like, "Don't say that you did."
All right.
That's hilarious.
I'm continuing with my theme. My question is, who led the NBA in blocks per game this year?
Interesting.
Very, very interesting.
I gotta.
Hey, what's the score at halftime? Anybody know?
It was 10 points last
I
I
think
saw.
it's 56-46.
All right, I gotta guess.
Yeah, I got to guess.
Wow, you let Ernie Johnson beat you to the stage?
Look at those kicks on Ernie.
Yeah.
Pretty fly for a white guy.
Give it to me, baby.
You got an answer there?
All right, what's up?
Yeah,
I'm
locked
good.
in.
All right, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I said the Greek freak.
I said Clint Capella.
I also said Capella.
Rudy Gobert.
The correct answer is Triple J. Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh.
When did he have?
Okay.
2? You said 2 blocks a game?
2.3.
Man, that's pretty good.
I have it pulled up here, I think. 2.3.
Gobert had to be close. I thought he had like 2.
Robert Williams averaged 2.2, and Gobert averaged 2.1.
I was close.
Okay.
I knew Gobert was up there because he's elite.
At being bad.
Dude, he's so elite. He'd dunk on you, dude.
I'd hope he could.
The problem is he can't dunk on Nicholas Batum.
So he doesn't have to play me in the NBA playoffs.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning in for our LeBron James episode. And we would also appreciate you tuning in next week to listen to our Kareem Abdul-Jabbar episode. That'll be great. I don't think we have a guest lined up for that one.
I expect big things out of Doug on that one.
Yes, Uncle Doug's #1 overall rated player.
Ooh, you had him above Mike. I like it. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta have the argument anyway.
There's a good one for it.
Absolutely. And thanks for listening to Sports the NEMO Way.